Like, this is gonna end up being the millennial Pompeii. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, some future tour guide is gonna be in front of a man made out of ash going, this victim was taking what in 2018 was known as a selfie. That's what that was.
Mount Dukono, one of the most active volcanoes in Indonesia, has since 1933 increased its activity until now. It's releasing thick black smoke, and look at these tourists. How do we call this? Should we use the word daredevil? Should we use the word uninformed? Or should we use the word stupid? It is hard to tell, but look at that. You can climb the crater, and sometimes you can climb it with guided tours, and then this happens, and the tourists were running for their lives down a very, very steep slope, as you can see. And when you see the video, you might only look at the left part of the video where there's tourists running down the slope. But watch it again, guys. These are not the only guys up on the slope. On the right side of the video, do you see there's a group of tourists as well? And they don't seem to be afraid for their lives that much. It seems they are standing there just watching what's happening. But these steep slopes, if you try running down these slopes, you can fall, you can stumble. It's very, very dangerous. But these volcanic actions that are happening there, they come with particles. It spews up ash 8,000 feet up in the air in this incident. So there's small volcanic tephra rocks and something that can be spit out that can hit you. And this happened at Stromboli in Italy, and the guy was over and out. So this is a crazy footage that a government drone has released. But you see, there's people posting this, making selfies where they're right on the Dukono crater, looking at the ash cloud, how it's erupting and how it's coming up, and they think it's cool. So they must be aware of what's happening, right? And they're not leaving. And of course, yeah, it's stunning footage that we see, right? Here, another hiker captured the exact moment when Dukono started to erupt. You see how everything's rising, 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 and then poof. It's stunning footage, but you could not get me anywhere. Well, this is literally, when I watch what these guys are doing, is like the saying, you're cutting the branch you're sitting on. And that's what these guys are doing, because this, I don't know where this is, it doesn't say, but it looks like a crater lake. And you know, when you see how steep the slope is, why would you push down the rock that is holding your legs on a very slippery slope with gravel that looks like it accelerates you sliding down into that lake without any hope of getting out of there in time? So they're having a blast. They think this is funny. There's other people standing around cheering them on, pushing that rock down there. And you know, I somehow feel I just want to sit here and watch this in disbelief and just shake my head, because someone wrote underneath this video, I mean, how stupid can you be? This rock could have saved lives in the future. When someone falls and slides down there, this rock could have prevented them from sliding into that crater. I think it's a crater. So Darwin Award, I don't know. Let's move on to the next one in Japan. Darwin Award hikers again. Japan's Mount Onaka erupted, has sent massive ash plumes into the surrounding area, and several people were injured from smoke coming out of the volcano that rests between Nagano and Gifu prefectures. So the hikers caught this footage. It's quite scary looking. So this is definitely another case where they got too close. And look at that hiking trail. Look at these massive boulders and rocks. So this is not a terrain where you can escape very quickly if you have to run. And again, there's rocks flying. there's heat. This is crazy. And okay, for us, it's good that they're filming because we can see that footage, but it's absolutely frightening. Do you see how dark it gets? And if you don't have a breathing mask, this can get very dangerous too, aside from the fact that the rocks that are shooting out like bullets at really, really high speed could damage you and end you pretty quickly. So there's no time to stop and put on a mask or something. So this is frightening footage from Japan. They have shared their scary experience. Did they know that this could happen? Was this a guided tour? Who knows, guys? Let's have a look at the next one. Never turn your back towards the ocean. This is called the Devil's Stare in Indonesia. Many tourists don't listen to the authorities that are giving them a warning. Stay away from the wet rocks. Never turn your back to the ocean here. So this woman is lucky to be alive if you see what has happened to her. Crazy things. It gets even crazier, guys. Here's the next one. Imagine you're on skiing vacation, skiing down the slopes with lots of snow. Would you think that all of a sudden there's a volcanic eruption? That is absolutely crazy, but that happened in Japan when many skiers were on the slope and then the lift was halted. And a skier that was stuck in the lift has filmed this incredible footage. Unfortunately, in this incident, one person was lost and several people were injured at Mount Kuzatsu, Shirane in Japan. That volcano is located roughly 100 miles from Tokyo. I would panic if I was in that lift and I could not get out. And you see in the other, from the other perspective, you see the volcanic rocks that are shooting through the air. And then you're trapped there and you can't get out. Scary things. Let's move to the next one. Mount Etna in Sicily on June 2nd, 2025. People were running for their lives when Etna suddenly blasted, sending rocks like bullets. And this was a massive eruption. And I'll show it to you from another perspective here. Then you see how this massive cloud came towards the people running, and there were so many tourists on the slope of Etna, older people as well. There were many videos surfacing, but here you can see how they're running down that steep slope. This is not easy terrain. You can break your ankle or break your leg, and you can have a bad fall if it's not the volcano that's getting you. But also, watch this clip here. While everyone else is fleeing, we've got the Darwin Award for some people that are running upwards, actually. And then discussions afterwards were like the tour guides were saying, oh, this was far enough. This was actually really safe. But others are saying, well, that doesn't look safe, and it wasn't safe. So why wasn't it closed down way earlier? Because there were some signs that Etna's constantly rumbling, right? And I'm always saying, well, these tour guides, sometimes they're students that do this as a summer job. I don't know who they are, right? So I wouldn't rely on some tourist company that tells me it's safe to go up that slope. It's obviously not, as you can see, because you cannot predict that. Scary video from Italy, but there's more, guys. Check this out. People are trying to push down rocks again. Again, this is another video for cutting down the branch you're sitting on. How on earth do you get this idea? But there's more to that story. This is actually even worse what they're doing, aside from endangering their own lives.
Rocks from a canyon along the Redstone Dunes Trail near Lake Mead. A little girl can be heard telling her dad to not fall. The rock formation is believed to be about 140 million years old. They are federally protected, by the way. In fact, authorities say destruction like this can result in felony charges.
It takes millions of years for these rock formations to form, and then you get a few idiots out there that are destroying all that work of nature. It's pretty appalling. It's kind of disgusting.
And sadly, when we're speaking about tourists getting too close, we have to speak about the White Island Wakari incident in New Zealand. An island that's a volcano, and it all over sudden blasted violently, ending people, severely injuring people. Now the island is closed for tourism, but despite warnings, money was more important. People were brought to this island. So that's a very, very sad incident. And you would think that they would learn from this, or that people would learn from this, but also tourist companies. But yet they still bring people too close to dangerous situations.
Move, move, move.
Everybody go!
Move.
Move! Come on, quick!
Italy, Mount Etna in Sicily. We have just seen in Japan people were skiing on a volcano with an unintentional volcanic eruption. But here at Etna, February 2025, they were skiing intentionally next to glowing lava, next to potential volcanic gas contamination, aside from the fact that if you, with that low visibility, have a fall and fall into the glowing lava, it's over and out. Of course, the pictures are spectacular, but also the news in Sicily has also say skiers are one step away from extinction. And that's how it really looks. But also if you see like the water, the snow melting, this is like a rushing river with a volcano behind you. If you fall into that in the complete darkness down a mountain slope, this does not end well. Do I like pictures like this? Yes, they're spectacular, but unfortunately they attract too many of these selfie tourists. And well, guys, what can we say about her? I hope she was happy with how her hair looked when she took that selfie. And I don't think there is more to add to this video with this woman. So guys, I hope you like this compilation of crazy selfies of tourists getting too close intentionally and unintentionally. So always be aware where you're going. Never trust any tourist agencies or tour guides. That's my opinion. So stay safe, guys. Check out the videos in the end screen. So much is going on. If you want to support the channel, check out the links in the description. I have a Buy Me a Coffee site. I will answer every message there with a 30-second video message. So if you want to chat with me, that's a great possibility. Link is in the description. See you safe and sound. Promise me. Bye.